Okay, so Hitler had just about nothing. The Roman Empire, that was a happening thing. But they were just as decadent. The Roman Empire was just as decadent as the American Empire. The question is whether or not the American Empire, the Americans in it, most of them are middle class or lower, and the middle class is definitely disappearing, and the upper class, some of that's blown away. We might get to the point where we actually realize, there's nothing more to steal. We got to stop this stealing shit because, we know what's happening. It's obvious. Okay, we know the American Empire is the American Empire. They've taken 130 countries. They've got influence all over the whole planet. So let's make a deal. And some kind of a deal has to be made. And most of it's just bloody obvious. We can't be pissing away fossil fuels. Even global warming is not the excuse for it. Global poisoning is more of it. Most of the shit that they make out of oil products is just poison. And it's retarded. We are simply doing things that are suicidal. And it reminds me of the film They Live. And in the film, they just wanted to turn everything into a hot, carbon-filled, poisonous atmosphere. It's retarded. And I don't believe it. There's no aliens here. There's just stupidity and greed. And we are very myopic. And we're just starting to wake up. And I mean that also from a conscious point of view. When you think about it, we've been... Okay, let's talk about fighting for a second. We've been fighting now for billions of years. The only thing we've ever done was fight. We've never ever had a time in history when we weren't fighting for something. And usually it was simply survival. And in the last 1,200 years maybe... 12,000 years, sorry. In the last 12,000 years, we get into this agriculture thing, and we get into this mining thing, and it changes everything quite a bit, and we're not so much struggling against the other animals because we've domesticated them. We don't have to go hunting animals anymore. We just chop their heads off and hang them up and slice them open like we do now. You get animals hanging on a chain, and they grow on the chain and just pull off their head on the end of it, and you put it in a bag, and it's sort of, we've domesticated or enslaved, you could say, almost all the animals and almost all the plant forms. A lot of the plant forms, we've changed them as well. It's like we are the overlords of the planet because we are so arrogant and short-sighted for sure. And then there's the overlords of the overlords. So there's this hierarchy that it's just a power trip. And if you don't understand a power trip, you're not being honest with yourself, because it's just cool when you're at the top. Even if it's just a game of scat, if you slaughter the other two guys, you think, all right, I won the thing. But if you can get the power of the world, just think, if Barack Obama is being offered this right now by the snakes that have all the resources, or the paper that says that they own the resources, it's bullshit. We just say, no, nobody owns the planet. All this shit was a game, and it doesn't count. There's no way to enforce it except with a police state. And when you use this police state, you have to use human beings, and they're going to have to be killing their friends. And eventually, it's just not going to work. You can't have a world police state, what they like to call a new world order, with laws where you can't move anywhere, and cameras where you show everything, and everybody's paranoid and nobody wants to talk to each other. Man, that's no way to run a fucking planet. So I don't think Barack's that stupid, okay? So he's not going to be doing that. The other guys might shoot him, but I don't even think they can't be that crazy not to notice that we're in a crisis. And the crisis doesn't mean everybody should go to church and start worshiping again. The crisis means we should fucking wake up and start treating the planet with a little respect. We forgot that it's even here, that we're even here. We're in a bloody fairy tale about going to heaven, and this is just a testing ground, and we have to kill people that don't believe our story. And there's so many different stories, and nobody stops to think, wonder why my story's right. And then if you can get a few people to think, okay, why is my story right and all the other thousands of other stories that we've made into religion aren't right? Now, okay, we'll say 8 main ones, but that would be leaving out all kinds of other people that just, their story is just as ridiculous, but they have rights to be ridiculously wrong like anybody else. It's complete madness. We've got ourselves to the point where we can't think anymore because we believe in fairy tales. And we got to get out of that. We just got to jump out of it. And I'm sure once we jump out of our fairy tales and start realizing that what is what is, I mean, we're not the masters of understanding everything, but we'd be doing a lot better if we let go of our fairy tales, let go of our television, let go of our Hollywood dreams, let go of our American dreams, everybody with a big fat fucking house and a big fat front yard. That doesn't work, man. We have to get more realistic. We have to stop using less of the earth and maybe get into space technology instead of all this other war technology. And if you used half the money that you use in war technology for space technology and the other half for getting this fucking planet back in order, man, we would snap into the future faster than anybody could figure out what's going on. And probably we wouldn't figure out what's going on, but maybe our kids could figure it out. But I mean, we've got to do a lot of thinking before we start blowing up this world, because it's the only one we got, and there ain't none around here. And we'll get to other comparisons in a second.